Adventures. They seem to be the next big thing in Bungie's arsenal. There's a plethora within Vanilla and a handful within Curse of Osiris and Warmind, but they changed with the expansions. The Vanilla adventures were true side missions that allowed you to gain experience, super upgrade tokens, gear, and most importantly, they gave a little bit of story to make the feel more expansive with little tidbits here and there. Yet, you didn't have to do them if you didn't want to. Then Curse of Osiris came, and adventures turned into just story missions that you had to complete to move forward, which I thought was a little odd, like why use the adventure aspect instead of just using them as true story missions. Then it hit me when Warmind came out. Adventures are supposed to be short, small missions that you can do super quick. And by making the story content in this format, then Bungie did not have to spend a bunch of resources making longer story missions. During Vanilla, adventures were one-off missions. Then Curse of Osiris decided to change that and introduced heroic versions of those adventures, just allowing them to be done at a higher difficulty and repeatable as much as you'd like each week. Forsaken came around and they got even more confused on what adventures were supposed to be. Pretty much the main aspect of the campaign was avenging Cayde's death, and that's done by killing the Barons through adventures and not actual missions. It all felt very out of left field. While the adventures were quick missions, there's still this huge emotional pull on players that I feel like each Baron should have had a dedicated mission. With the release of Forsaken came heroic adventures again, but they offered a milestone completion to get good gear. This change allowed previous adventures to be reprised into heroic versions all over the system, which was nice for the nostalgia aspect if you didn't really pay attention the first time. Based on the 3 expansions that used adventures as parts of the story, it seemed as though that was the way Bungie was moving. Short and sweet, allowing players to blow through the content even faster. Then came Shadowkeep, and there were no adventures, leaving a lot of people confused and asking what happened. Don't believe we ever got an actual answer. As Shadowkeep went on, the community was hoping to get some aspect of the adventures due to the returning destination, to learn even more than before. But Shadowkeep came and went, as well as the next couple seasons, never seeing adventures pop up, making it truly seem like Bungie moved on from that style of storytelling. Especially with the Beyond Light release, adventures were retired and put in the DCV. The weirdest part of all is that if you are playing when the reset happens, whether it be daily or weekly, you still get the pop-up of new adventures. It's a little misleading considering they aren't even in the game anymore. I would love to see adventures come back, but in the original form. I want to keep the main story missions, actual missions, letting the adventures stay true side quests, that you can choose to do them, and when you want to do them. Bungie has tried to implement lore deep into the game, but I know many, myself included, do not read the majority of the lore released. Now, if they changed the implementation of some of the lore and had someone telling us over comms while we go clear out an area for an adventure, it would be a pretty cool way of allowing to still consume the lore without having to necessarily stop playing the game. Now, that is a huge change. I highly doubt that will ever happen. But something a little bit more realistic, be that super small details about characters or races, like telling us what has happened with Mithrax since we last saw him during 0 Hour. Bungie could have taken that opportunity to let us see characters have more feelings and even maybe acceptance about Cayde's death. Maybe even how Zavala felt when he truly saw who Crow used to be. This would allow us to have more of a connection with characters even more. Let us see more emotions after something has happened instead of just during. Like Zavala was almost assassinated. We got nothing about it from him. Like, hello? More understanding of a character, like I mentioned with Mithrax. He looks completely different compared to 0 Hour. I would like to know how and why, other than the general knowledge that he's actually a splicer. We could also hear more from Osiris about Sagira's death, since that topic was barely covered at all. All I want is true side quests that can be consumed to build the universe and characters in it without having to focus on the larger storyline happening. That's all I've got for today's video, but if you like the video, make sure to hit that subscribe button for more Destiny content and slap that like button. Let me know in the comments if you'd like to see adventures come back. See you on the next video. Stay safe, Guardians.